around the bottom left button. There you go. Yeah, YouTube's weird. It takes a few tries to get it to turn around. Alright everybody, so we're back and we're going to do trimming on this tank. We started some of the trimming we were talking about in the last video, and then now we're going to work on the shiny parts on the top, which are super important aesthetically, so we try to do a little bit better job. So we're having me do it because I've done it a few times. I've made over 100 MTT tanks, and those have a top that needs trimming like this as well. Oh crap, I need glasses. I'll be back in a sec. I'm okay. Thank you.
What? She said they don't publish it like until she does some stuff. No, she does some stuff to it. Like it's live, but nobody's watching it, so.
So in the last handful of years, my eyeballs got worse and I need glasses to be able to see right in front of my face. There we go. So as usual, be very careful with your tool discipline. Keep everything sharp away from the shiny surface and anywhere O-rings go. So we're not quite fully back up to speed on our brains, so we're just going to kind of rebuild our confidence. Here's what I was talking about. It's easy to drag along the surface. It's a hard balance. So this part doesn't show, so that's okay to do it there. But once you get above this curve, you want to have your technique down a little better. Dug a hole there. So the edge gets kind of rough just because it's an inconsistent area of where different things meet in the tool itself, so the plastic gets all grumpy and crazy and we need to start working on holding our mouth just right, as it were. Get your concentration face going so you can get these just right. And at some point we're going to just dive in on that top part of the tank that's the most scary. This is still under the seat. The good thing about this knife is that it's got the rubber, so it sort of protects the surface if you're dragging it like I was. Alright, now we're going to start showing. This is Comes out from under the seat. So you'll see I'll start going and then I might back up. That's so I can kind of just try to catch that flow again. Maybe I change my pressure, maybe I change my angle.
Okay.
So like I'm going along and I don't have enough bite, so I angle it down, angle it down, angle it down, get some bite. Then I kind of know where the edge is. I mean, a little bit of the suck is there is no perfect. We're gonna have to be cool with that. I mean, that's So is it perfect? No, but feel it. Like there's a little bit of a lip. It's not ugly. It seems planned.
Gotcha.
You know, okay, I'm inconsistent right here, but.
Not that noticeable though.
Right. So this is acceptable professional level. This is acceptable good enough. So I'm going to come in and hit this right here just because I feel it more than at other places. So I get going on the smooth before I start a bite. Ooh, there's a couple bubbles. Those are going to screw with your force. It's inconsistent. I mean, that works.
Okay.
Back here is not as important. Get my finger out the way. We'll get that later. So, alright, how are we going to do this? So I'm sort of watching where the blade edge meets this line. So there's a very definitive white line where the tank stops and the flash starts.
Okay.
And I'm trying to keep my edge just this side of that. Grip right. So it's better if you feel you're screwing up, it's better to angle away and just leave. Then you can come back and try to pick it back up. So here's where the bubbles kind of screw us preparing this tank because it changes the force as it like zippers through where those bubbles form. So I had kind of a good thing going, so I just went for it.
Yeah.
So if we kept doing that again right now, I call that over trimming. Where you just keep hacking and keep hacking.
Right.
Like this, you got to say this is good and just stop. That's kind of one of the hard parts of perfectionism in these tanks is that there's a point where you have to say I'm done. And convince your OCD you're done. So going through here, I'm watching where the blade meets the tank. And there I dug in a little bit more than I wanted, but it is what it is and it's done.
Okay.
Is that quote unquote way perfect? No, but it's better than most folks can do. Now I come through and feel and there's a lump right here. So I'm going to come back and work on that lump.
Oh, okay.
The rest of it I mean, it's good enough. Like, if you try to make this even, you're gonna spend another half hour on this area and then it'll be lumpy and weird. So just, you gotta say it's good. Little bit of lump. There, there's no lump. Corners are really tough. So this part shows when you're on the bike, it butts up to the fairing. So I try to have the angle as much like this face as I can and less like this face.
Right.
If it's on this face, you have a huge cutting surface that they're going to see. But if you're down here, they're not going to see the majority of your cut. You just want a consistent lip here. And try not to slice your finger. That's pretty dang good. We're going to leave that. So here, rather than just whittling, I'm starting it without much of a bite, and then I'm adding bite very gently. And that's how you try to be smooth and not show like 30 facets of a diamond, as it were.
Yeah.
Now we'll try this one. And I love these nitrile gloves because they're the best at not leaving handprints or fingerprints or scratching. So if you don't really glide too much on the tank, there's not going to be evidence that you were touching it there. Somehow your skin is more rough than gloves, a lot. So I'm just trying to keep that lip, that line, just a little bit of a line. That's perfect trimming to me, is when you have just a little bit of a line. You're never going to have it 1000% perfect. It's just that's not possible. That level of perfection, you get that with sanding and paint, not with these tanks. And so you probably just saw I went like this. That's the first time I've slipped on the surface anywhere I've been running on this tank.
Yeah.
But it went to non-visible, so it's okay. And I feel a little bit of a lip here, so we're going to get that. This part's kind of tricky because it's how thick it is, and then we made it more tricky with our bubbles there. Now, how am I going to do that? Oh, this is pretty good. Okay. So here, where my line of sight is looking, I can see a reflection on both sides of the seam. That helps you be able to see what you're doing. And then you keep your knife in the middle of that reflection, and you have a better idea of what you're doing with your blade. Whoa.
Maybe go put your hands in front of the fan for a second.
There we go. Where do I want to start? Well, if you can also get going, you get your tank steady, right? And you just start a little bit without fully committing. And then it's like, okay, this is working. All right, let's go with it. That's a pretty great trim. Can get a little bit better, but then you risk of digging in and making a great big divot. So it's like if you wanted to go for better, it's like always start not enough bite, and then gently add a little bit of bite, a little bit, add a little more. You see the hair starting. So if you need to come back and do more, you do that. But we're going to try to leave that alone. Oh, I dug in a little. So you can see I dug in a little bit extra right there. That's the worst one, and there's two more. They're not quite. So that's the worst one. Then we have this one. Dug in a little bit, and I dug in just a little bit there. You try to keep it from digging in, but you're trying to remove flash at the same time. They're opposing issues. They're in conflict with each other, and you're trying to balance those. Whatever it takes to keep the cut going. I'm driving the cart, but I had it just right, so we just left it. Let's see if we can pick this up again. I think I might leave that. It just looks good. Yeah, there's flash, but it's not sharp and it's not raised up inconsistently.
Right.
You're never going to get rid of the parting line perfectly. Let me see if I can hug the tank. Will that work? Without dropping it and making it worse. Half of it, you have to see it. You have to look at the angle and look at the reflection and what am I doing with my knife? That was pretty good. Okay, I'm happy with that.
Oh, sorry.
So if you can change hands and go left-handed, try that. But you can't count on that. So I raised I put my foot up onto the lower shelf and my knee is helping hold the tank up to keep it steady. Whatever it takes to put the tank in the position to where you can see the light, it stays put, and you can create that perfect trim.
We're gonna get another stool like that.
So here I quit because I couldn't see anymore.
Right.
So I gotta quit. I can't just keep running with the flow if I can't tell. Now, oh, this is a great angle. So I have the reflection of the light. These lights are great for this because you've got a lot of surface of reflection from sources. So right here is a scratch in the mold. I don't know if you can see it curl down, but that's in the aluminum. You're not going to get rid of that. There's just a little curl, just in that, like that. So that's going to be there until you polish it out. You know, but when you're polishing the tool, you might scratch it again. So that's another balance thing of how often you do maintenance versus what's good enough. I have to reset somehow and get this. So on this side, the parting line is not matched as perfectly as the other side. The other side, it's really thin.
Oh, sorry.
But here you can see the seam is, I don't know, that's 0.1 inches maybe across. 2 to 3 millimeters for our M&Ms. Yeah, we're starting to over trim, cut it, be done. That's it. We're done with that. Like, you gotta just say that's enough and be happy. We're gonna get this corner up here, whatever it takes. I'm just trying to get the thickness of this lip consistent, so the reflection is more consistent than less. That way it looks better. We'll check this other corner. Yeah, like, you've got to call this good.
Yeah.
It's like you want to keep going to get perfection, but no, this is pretty freaking great. I mean, it's hard to say the words good enough when you're a perfectionist.
Right.
So let me see here. This angle is weird. There we go. Okay. So you have to use the light to help you see what the edge is doing. Yeah, the lighting in here is pretty great.
Yeah. Could probably even get another row right here.
Alright, so this part's always tricky. We're digging in a hole, kind of. And here's where I'm using that bevel to, like, hold it off the surface and not dig in. That right there was a perfect example of using that process. And then I keep control of it to try to not dig into where it matters. Just take this corner off a little bit. Oh, that might work here. Okay. I'm watching that tip, trying to keep it from hitting the plastic on the away from you side. Whoa, that was dang near perfection.
I was going to say, I don't know that I would even touch that one again.
That's because I could see that edge where the tank curled up. And if you can control where your blade is going with that edge, it's so much easier to get your cut right. You know, whatever it takes to get it right, the technique is kind of irrelevant. I just say what I do and what my brain's doing. It might help someone else trying to do the same thing. Uh-oh. Trying to dig in. We did dig in. Just trying to be consistent. Doing the best we can. These pieces don't line up very well, so it's a little bit tricky to get it, and you just do the best you can. So I'm going to show an example of how it screws up if you do it the wrong way. So this is uphill. Let me see if I can even do it. See, it wants to catch.
Yeah.
And dig a trench more, whereas here you're cutting across the corner rather than trying to dig uphill. I mean, that's just something I eventually figured out on my own. I was like, how come it hurts to do it this way? How come it sucks? And then I was like, oh wait, that's uphill. And I just don't like how I made that raggedy looking, so we're gonna... That's less raggedy. Dang, are we done trimming? Does that mean it's time to flame?
So.
Oh, I do want to get this little bit right here though. So can you tell that it's different here? Like from this angle where I'm at, you can see...
Oh yeah, you can see it.
So let's try not to get greedy with our trimming. No, that's...
I say, well, you should maybe start a little closer to. Are you able to do that?
Well, the thing is that you have to approach it without a cut and then start your cut on it. Definitely hold your mouth just right.
That's better.
So another way to look is that you're looking at this top lip catching the light and what is it doing, and you just try to make it even. There is no perfect.
Sorry, I didn't scratch it. Not any more than
it's tough. Couple little hairs back here. Let's get these. That just doesn't want to go away. So like, if you look at this from back here, okay, it's not the best trim. Okay, you don't want this up there.
Right.
But
this is hidden.
This is underneath stuff. Who cares? So you want to try to avoid a giant pocket like that. So I guess now it's time to flame.
Are you, how do I stop it?
You want, what do you want different?
To pause, or can you pause it at all, or no?
Well, you have to hit the X and it'll end.
Oh, okay.
So it's fine to stay live and whatever. So let's go look at our area. This is, oh, okay. Oh, crap. We've got all this other stuff going on.
Huh?
Do you know where that chunk of stool went?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess maybe we could end it, but now we're like too invested in the weirdness.
This is not part of it, right?
Where'd you put the camera?
Sean.
Oh, cameraman.
Here, let me move this so you can set that right.
Gosh.
That is for these. Putting the holes in the sides of these.
And I'm gonna go ahead and change gloves. I don't want to put grease on our tank.
Do we need to move that over here, or is it okay right here?
Maybe over there is a little better.
The shop vac's plugged in if you want to just do that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of grease from the chain.
And well, I can go get some cleaner for that. Or there's Windex. Will that be all right?
Yeah.
Damn boobs. Seriously.
I never really cleaned it much. It's just I wanted it better than worse. We can't find the stool chunk, huh?
No, we have it. The stool chunk that she had, that, you know, the bottom half of the stool.
I cursed us by not letting it quit.
Can you get the shop vac for the rest of that? I'm gonna go get it. Yo, that's what I'm doing.
So we have a stool where we cut the top of the stool off and we just had the 4 legs, and it was perfect to set a tank on and flame, but we've lost our stand. So I guess we're going to go ahead and end this live now, and we'll pick it back up when we figured out what our stand will be. So this really was just a trimming video. The next step is going to be to flame the tank. Thanks for watching. No. There? Okay.